The new season of The Voice has been a lot of fun so far. I think Adam and I were both feeling pretty confident going into this season with a couple of new coaches on board, and we figured out early on that this was no joke to those two, and they came ready. Man, they started jabbing right off the bat when we got in the blind auditions. It was very obvious to Adam and I both that they had been paying attention and they knew what this show was all about, and they knew that if they were going to get some artists that could win this thing, they were going to have to pull out all the stops, and they did, man. They brought it. Yeah, I think things were they were cordial when we all first met. And got to spend a little time with each other. But Adam and I made a point not to try to help. I mean, the last thing you want to do is hand somebody a bullet for their gun in this competition. And you could tell that early on when they lost a couple of artists to Adam and I, they kind of were like, oh, I see how this is now. And then they finally, they caught on very quickly, and they knew what they were getting into, I think, coming in. But it's a different animal altogether when you're sitting in that chair, and you haven't rehearsed any of this. You just kind of have to wing it and go with your gut and try to make the best decision you can, and then try to make the best case you can when it's time to win that artist over. Usher and Shakira, I'm still trying to figure out exactly, their angle and what their strengths are and things like that in this competition. Shakira is one of those that, she's so sweet and beautiful that you just don't realize that there's this competitive, person lurking back there. You know what I mean? And the claws come out every now and then. And you're like, whoa, all right, calm down, And then once the thing's over, she comes over and gives you a hug, and it's so crazy, man. She really is like she smiles while she sticks the knife in you. And Usher's just Usher all the time. He is the same guy in this competition that he is backstage. He just plays everything really cool, and he lets his smile and his charm do the work for him. And I've seen it work many a times in the blind auditions where he doesn't have to say a whole lot. He just kind of gives a smile and a wink, especially if it's a girl standing up there and they just fall apart and run and jump in his lap. And that's definitely something that he uses, to win people over. Usher's known for his music first, but his dancing is a close second. And I didn't want to, tip my hand to him backstage. I waited till we were actually on the stage and had a chance to serve him, if you will, a couple of times with the old moonwalk and whatever in the hell this is. Served him with a few of those whenever it was time to brag and rub it in his face. And he was intimidated. He was very intimidated with some of my moves. Season 3 definitely brought on all the perfect elements of The Voice. All came together. That's when the steals became a reality in the battle rounds, and our buttons stayed on our chairs for another portion of the show. And it just brought the excitement level up so much more. Just to know that, as a fan watching the show, you decided during the blind auditions, okay, that person right there is going to be the artist that I root for. And then it comes to the battle rounds and they lose and go home, and it sucks. But now that those steals are here and those buttons are back, that person that you rooted for in the blinds, even though they lose their battle round, doesn't necessarily mean they have to go home. And we saw it in Season 3. We saw some of the most important artists that moved on into the live shows were people who didn't win their battle rounds, but they were stolen by another coach because they saw something in that person and they were right. The show isn't. It can't be the same without CeeLo and Christina, but it is just as exciting. It's just different personalities, and it's a different chemistry, and it's awesome. It's dynamic. It's competitive. It's fun. There's just there's no parrots, but it's so exciting. We're finding out that as long as you've got the coaches in those chairs who are veterans who have accomplished a lot, maybe accomplished most of their goals as recording artists. When they sit down in those chairs, they find that there's still something that they haven't accomplished, and that's winning the voice. And I'm telling you that people bow up. I mean, the claws come out, and that's what's happened with Usher and Shakira. They figured out, oh my gosh, I mean, I want to win this thing. I've done a lot, and I know what I'm talking about here, and I'll be damned if I'm going to lose this thing to this country guy. Well, he can't beat me, and that's what ends up happening, and that's what we're seeing with season 4. Maybe it doesn't really matter who's in those chairs. It's still a game that anybody wants to win.